Mark the holes in this attachment plate here at the end of the fin, top and bottom, drill that out and then pop rivet on the nut plates to bolt this on this side and the other side, and then this job is sorted. Next job is to attach the vertical trim fin, and when you look through the build manual here, it has basically 6 lines on that, which says you've got to cut down, bend and fit the vertical trim fin bracket to the tail bin. That's the first job to do, and then this is a complete piece that comes in the kit, which will be up like that as a vertical trim fin, funnily enough. So let's get that out of the way, because I need to bend the bracket here. It's already got 45-degree bends in here, which is fine. We need a 90-degree or near 90-degree bend down here. Now, if you just did that by whacking that down, it's a very good chance you'd crack the metal. So, we need a bit of heat. The bracket just bolts top and bottom into the last bulkhead in the tail boom, and this then will slot in like so. See, this is the great thing about working in a professional workshop. David! Where's the big kit? Thanks, mate. 1. Excellent. You little devil. Did I say this was simple? What you got there? Got that's magnetising. Excellent. Yes. Right, I'll just tighten that up for now so it doesn't fall off. That is it for part 1. Join me after the break when I'll be putting together the tail rotor itself. That's the bit I've been really looking forward to. Welcome back to A Chopper is Born. I'm building my own kit helicopter, and I've come to a quite complicated bit in the assembly. It's putting together the tail rotor itself. I've got the plan down here, which is a bit of a nightmare. Over here, this end of the bench, are all the bits that we need to put it together. Now, some of them are very obvious, like a tail rotor blade itself, of which obviously there are a pair of 2, and we've even got very special grease that comes with the kit, which is extremely gooey. So, over the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to get all this lot put together and then fix it to the tail boom. And the first job is to grease up these bearings. They are a fantastic bit of kit. There's one bearing inside this cylinder, which allows rotation, and then there's a fantastic little roller bearing. It's almost like a washer, and that takes the load when that's fully against the end stop. Now, first job is to grease it all up with this very gooey rotorway grease. The trick is not to put too much of this stuff on. Put a bit of grease on the whole of the outside of it, and a little bit inside the barrel. The O-ring fits in that slot there, and then the whole lot can fit in to the barrel, which will need a bit of a... Ooh, I was going to say it needs a bit of a tap. It needs to go far enough to get the little circlips in. Okay, you just need to get a paper towel, wipe off the goo. We need a circlip, special little pliers. Get in. So there we go, that's one side done. Just got to repeat it with the other bearing. The next job is to put the rotor blades themselves onto the bearings that I've just put in there. The blade itself is B to B, like so. Now it's a case of just lining up these holes, and then the nuts and washers. Now, like the vast majority of nuts and bolts on this aircraft, they need to be tightened up to a very specific torque setting. This little torque wrench is an absolute beaut. It's a tiny little baby of a torque wrench, but I need to set this to 48 inch-pounds. Now, it's worth having a range of different torque wrenches when you're building a helicopter like this, because if you've got a huge torque wrench and you only need a very small amount of torque, trying to set that is very difficult, so it's better to have a little one. And this is a lovely tool. Oh, it's like cracking your knuckles. The next job is to balance these blades. To do that, I've set up a special jig in the vise, which is completely level. I've set that up with the inclinometer, and I need to just slot on that carriage slider assembly and the pulley just to add a bit of weight on the end of the main rotor shaft here. And then all I do is sit the shaft on the aluminium like so. Make sure that both blades are right up against their bearing stops and that the whole thing is free to rotate. And the point of balancing these blades is to stop vibration, because these blades, the tail rotor, will spin at something like 2,500 revs, which is 5 times the main rotors. So that's on there, and then just let go and see what happens. And what happens is it drops down slightly this side, which obviously means this side is too heavy. So I've got some different pieces of aluminium here, different sizes, so obviously different weights, and then I can play with it and trim them down until I've got the perfect piece. Once I've decided exactly what weight it is, then we can fix that on the inside for good. Just make sure we're not touching anything. See what happens now. First time lucky. That is looking like a job in the town.
Welcome to Oshkosh.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm Peter, nice to see you.
Peter, how you doing? I'm Ricky.
Ricky, what do you call this then?
It's called a Phantom Ultralight.
Is it one of those things you build yourself, or do you get
Yeah, it is a place you can build. It's one you can build yourself, but I bought this about 10 years ago from a guy right outside of Detroit, Illinois. But since then, I've rebuilt it. I put a whole new engine on it myself. I've refabricated it and everything. I put on a ballistic parachute, a whole lot of instrumentation, and it's great.
What sort of range have you got in it? How many miles can you
Well,
get on a tank, as they say?
I can stay up about an hour and a half safely. So we'll fly for about an hour, land, fill up, and fly again. So it was beautiful coming here yesterday.
It looks very flimsy to me. I mean, is it safe? Can you get up there? I mean, you can't do things like this guy's doing, can you?
In this particular model, yes, you can. The thing, yeah. This is the only ultralight that I know of that is specifically aerobatic rated. If you look at it, it has a double camber. This is a camber that really allows you to fly upright. It also has an inverted camber for inverted flight, if you should happen to do that. Now, I've got some friends. I always tell my friends, if you see me upside down, I'm in trouble, okay?
It's a bad day.
Right.
Now to assemble all the bits on the main shaft here. And the first bit to go on there is number 5, E176125, the carriage slider assembly, which is that bit. It is followed by bearing plate, which is this one here. Then this locking collar. When you put this on, you turn it and it will lock the bearing onto the shaft. Next is this little aluminium collar, followed by the pulley. That's very, very tight. But fear not, because I have a trick up my sleeve. Anybody got a hairdryer? I bet it doesn't work. See, it does work. There we go. One aluminium pulley on. What a neat trick. I am really surprised that worked, I have to tell you, but it's on. And next goes on this sleeve, then the bearing lock there, and then finally the other bearing plate. There we go. So all the other bits this side, on the blade side, can all slide up towards the boss of the pulley, like so, and then the whole lot can go in the tail boom.
first flight of the day, we do a pre-flight check of the helicopter. We start out by opening the upper inspection panel on the